also...
We're our greatest critic.
We need to realize also that...
Take a step back.
Take a step back and be like, well, we are not our worst mistakes. We're just not. We're not our worst mistakes.
Yeah, we're the accumulation of our successes and our mistakes.
Yeah.
We are...
How we react is more important than the actual thing. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Beneath the Surface podcast. Today I've got a very special guest, Arthur Aznive.
Hi, yeah, I'm Arthur.
We were just talking about your interests in like solar power and stuff like that.
Yeah, clean energy.
What's your whole? What do you think about what's going on nowadays?
Well, people seem to think that we're in like this green energy like revolution, where I really think that we are jumping the gun a little too quickly on this like green energy is amazing. Green energy is we have it, we're getting it, and it's good, and it is good. The trick is it is good.
Yeah.
But I think we're getting disillusioned with the reality of it because a huge problem that some people think about. I don't know if everyone thinks about it, but I think it's been gaining trend is e-waste.
Okay.
Green energy, especially solar power, is e-waste that's just not waste yet.
Okay.
Because you have to decommission solar panels after about 20 to 25 years.
Really?
Last I checked, that was about the lifespan of a solar panel. And the more and more solar panels we create, that's just adding to the e-waste that's coming up. And we can't really do anything with that. It's just going to be shipped out to another country.
Yeah.
And if we have solar farms, and we have everyone's roof has a solar panel, or solar panels, an array.
Yeah.
We're just making this e-waste problem for the future. Yeah. And it's not a small amount because we have solar farms.
And it's always growing too, right?
And it's not stopping.
It's not stopping.
And I feel like people don't think about things like that. Or oh goodness.
You're getting
like a hiccup.
No worries.
The other thing is that people don't really think about the amount of time some of these green energies are actually effective.
Yeah.
Which is about, depending on where you live, 10 to 30% of the time they're actually running.
Yeah.
So out of the whole year. So you're only getting imagine just 10% of the year is when it's active, and then the rest of the whole year nothing's happening.
Yeah, and then the years are going by, and then like 25 years hits, and it's just kind of it's kind of negatively building on itself.
It's not quite negative, but it's not as efficient. Like when we think of fossil fuels, a great thing about fossil fuels is that you just have power running. You have the fuel. And, I mean, super simplified, obviously. Yeah. But you have the fuel, you put it in there, you're getting energy out.
I feel like
you need it.
Yeah. I feel like with, like, solar and, like, green energy, I feel like the idea is there. Like, the good
obviously
is there.
It's good.
It's, like, obviously it's, like, a good philosophy, like,
Germany
save the planet,
is a great... People always reference Germany.
Yeah.
Like, because they have a lot of this green energy initiative. They're also trying to decommission a lot of their nuclear power plants and are asking for their neighbors to be decommissioning their nuclear power plants.
Okay.
I think this might be old news, I believe, but I mean, just talking about it, but nuclear power is really good at the same time. Now, to finish the thought, though, of why the green energy initiative isn't, like, going so hot right now.
Yeah.
Like, solar panels are, one, expensive. They're not you can't just constantly be producing electricity. And sure, it produces some amount of electricity, but at the same time, not everyone has them. Yeah. They don't produce energy as often as you need. Yeah. And
based on the weather.
During the day, but also the weather, your location, where beside the house they're on, trees.
Like the chances of a cloud being over the sun.
Oh, and that's not obviously going to last forever, but I mean, that's why you have energy, like the batteries, but at the same time, if you use batteries to hold that energy make over the day, you're losing like 20% of that energy that you could have just used. Because you're putting into a battery and pulling it out of the battery. Okay. And you lose energy in that process of using energy from battery. And a lot of this is simplified.
Yeah, I don't really know much, to be honest, about like solar power specifically, but like kind of like I know like the broad things. What do you think of like solar, but as well as like wind power?
I wanted to get to wind.
Yeah.
Wind is good, but again, you need wind.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we shouldn't have these things going. Not saying you shouldn't pull some energy from solar. You shouldn't pull some energy from wind. I don't believe you can get 100%.
Yeah.
Without using too much land, too much space.
Yeah.
You need space to do all these things. And do people really ask the question, in the initiative to save the climate, are we destroying the environment? In order just to save the climate, what do we do? They're
the important questions to ask. You know, they're the sometimes like uncomfortable but important questions to ask. Right. You know, it's Absolutely. Like we need to be able to ask ourselves, what are the cons of these seemingly pro, Earth, practices, I'd say. Yeah.
I feel I'm trying to remember who said it, because I know someone has said this before me.
Yeah.
But we are in a green energy crisis.
Yeah.
We don't have the correct solution. We have a lot of great solutions.
Yeah.
We have some really good ones, but they have drawbacks, and everything has drawbacks.
Everything. Yeah.
Everything, even nuclear, which I am a big fan of. I'm a big fan of nuclear. I think that's super cool.
Yeah. What way nuclear? I'm curious to get
why.
Into that.
So I believe
that's another thing I don't really know.
Nuclear, uranium. Oh, thank you.
No worries.
Thank you. He takes good care. He takes care of it.
Yeah, I'm still trying to learn these. I'm seeing which is better than whatever. Yeah, continue.
It's uranium-235 is very dense for getting energy out of it. So like for the same amount of, I believe, I'm pulling analogies out because I think these are common analogies people use.
Yeah.
Is the tip of a pencil, like the eraser of a pencil, is about the same size as a piece of uranium-235 you need to power like a city for a year.
Wow.
I think that's it. The one I do know is a Rubik's Cube size piece, uranium-235, is what you would need for your entire lifetime. But all the energy a person uses in their lifetime, energy for everything, could be obtained from a piece that big.
So what are those? So why aren't we doing those things? And we are though, right? We are.
We are. Like the United States, I believe, pulls 19%. I don't believe it's more than 20%.
Okay.
Of our energy from nuclear.
Okay.
And I know that and fun fact, I know there's one in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
There's a power plant in New Hampshire, but I don't know. I believe it's also on the decline.
Yeah.
Nuclear is on the decline.
What are the drawbacks?
One, if it explodes.
Yeah, it's pretty.
That's pretty horrific. But Lancet, do you know of Lancet?
No.
I believe they're British. They're British. Wow, why am I blanking on words?
Like nuclear corporation.
No, not nuclear. Health. They're in the health industry.
Oh, okay.
And they performed a study. And they found, this might be dated knowledge of when they did this, but I believe is still the most recent. I think it was back in 2016 they did this study.
Okay.
And they found that nuclear was the safest option of energy.
Really?
Energy creation.
Compared to others in the long run.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have a lot of issues with a lot of different forms of energy.
Yeah.
You've got, with wind, people are like, oh, it kills birds. Well, yes. So does solar farms, like the ones the cool solar farms that I like a lot. Other ones are just mirrors that go towards a single, like a tower.
Yeah.
And that tower is then being heated up in the water. You heat up water, I believe, in the tower.
Yeah,
it gets cherry red hot. You can pull up some pictures sometime.
Yeah.
Look at those. It's very cool. But also, birds fly over those things, and they catch on fire.
Totally.
I shouldn't clap. They catch on fire, and they fall to the ground. It's obviously horrific.
Yeah.
But it's just the reality of what it is.
Yeah.
But also, cats kill millions to billions of birds per year. House cats.
There's always everything always has negatives and positives.
Absolutely.
So everything. So
it's a give and a take.
Like we've got to make sure we balance the cost. The cost, and that works with energy, whether that's fossil fuels compared to solar or anything. That works with literally anything, like with getting out of bed and making decisions. Like, okay, so what's the cost of me eating this or doing this or putting my energy towards this?
Absolutely.
So it really works on a universal level as well as like a specific.
Absolutely. And people think, like, what birds are dying to these, like windmills, for instance?
Yeah.
It's the birds of prey. It's the larger ones.
Yeah.
Larger birds are getting killed by those, and that's bad. obviously. I don't want them dying. I like those birds. I like birds.
We like animals.
Also, people don't think, bats get killed by those too.
Yeah.
A lot of bats get killed by windmills.
Yeah.
To the point where I believe there's a common species is going extinct now due to that.
Yeah.
And I don't have anything on me to refer to because I did know at one point what that species of bat was. Yeah. But windmills are a huge problem for them.
Yeah.
And it's not small quantities, it's large quantities. Yeah. These bats are getting killed by windmills.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I really like windmills. People are like, oh, they're so ugly. I'm like, I don't know, kind of cool.
I think they're kind of cool.
Kind of cute.
Yeah, I think they're kind of.
I think they look kind of beautiful.
I think they're cute too.
But it's like obviously there's risks. There's things are going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's about balancing these things. But the problem with windmills is like you can't just keep putting them everywhere.
Yeah.
You have to be careful. You have to think about where you put them. You should definitely run simulations of where weather simulations where you're going to put them so you generate the most electricity. You really take up a lot of space.
Yeah.
And I don't believe all the other negative things about like, oh, they cause cancer. Like I've heard that. I've heard it's not true, but I've heard people.
I cannot see windmills causing.
No, or it's
maybe
there's all. I've heard some crazy stuff from people.
Yeah.
And it's like no.
Yeah.
The real reason I think, if there's any reason I'm against windmills, is because of the amount of space they take up.
Yeah.
But as long as you choose locations properly, I don't have an issue with them. Obviously, because I like windmills.
Yeah, they're I like them.
They're wind turbines, not really windmills. Not a mill, it's a turbine.
Yeah.
So like wind turbines. But like, there's these cons that are just part of the technology. And it's not really a technological issue we're having. Yeah. It's a nature issue.
Yeah.
Nature doesn't support these things.
I'm curious, where do you think we're going?
Where do you think we're going?
Yeah, like in terms
of... Not being an energy expert, but more of a hobbyist.
Yeah.
Enthusiast is a good word.
Lots of interest and
I honestly think nuclear.
Like, do you think we're really
is a really good option?
Do you think this planet's it's too late?
I don't think there's ever a too late.
No, I think it's about creativity. Turn back when it comes to like climate change.
We've been barely scratching the surface of what humanity is capable of.
Okay.
I think it's all due to creativity and what we discover. How we
when it comes to like renewable energy and stuff like that, and
absolutely.
Like,
I mean, when I say nuclear, I mean both fission and fusion.
Yeah.
And I know one of those we don't have a real power plant for, but we do. It's pretty close. It's the sun.
Yeah.
But I think that's honestly our best option with what we know now.
Okay.
Obviously, there's some downsides to nuclear, such as you need to decommission I believe 25 to 30 years is the decommission.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's when you need to do it. You need to when you have a radioactive material inside an area for a long period of time, and it's your funny thing is you boil water. All this boils down to boiling water.
Yeah.
And you either boil water. The only things I can't think of off the top of my head right now is wind and solar on boiling water. But even solar does boil water. You can use it to boil water.
You can
if you
can create energy, you could basically boil water.
Hot water, not hot energy.
Yeah.
Heat energy.
Yeah.
But nuclear it's really cool. Yeah. At the same time, it's like
do you have interest in it other than like is it next to engineering for you? Like you want to get into
I think it's
nuclear?
Impressive.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into nuclear as an engineer. I want to be a computer engineer.
Okay.
I like software, AI. I like engineering.
Dude, I want to talk about AI.
I mean, maybe we can talk about AI.
Yeah. That's just a topic
AI is also a great philosophical conversation.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who are super like no.
Yeah.
I'm on the train of yes.
That guy. That guy.
Which one?
That you mentioned earlier today. I think
Jay.
The guy who went into jail.
Oh, the guy went to jail.
Yeah, for 60 years. And then he came back. People had phones. People had computers.
Now that was I heard something about that. He went. A guy came out from 60 years. He didn't know what a lot of things were. Something like that. Yeah. I don't know if that was true or not. But even if it's not true, let's say it was just a story.
Yeah.
The amount of my concept of that conversation was the amount of how technology has progressed in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if that story was true. If a guy really went to jail.
I mean, it has to have happened, right? I mean,
sure, people definitely have long sentences and have recently got out. And even if it was 30 years, I mean, it's not. I don't know if that particular instance of the story that I was told is real.
Totally.
But I can see that we only 100 years. Yeah. Was it 100 years between the Wright brothers and going to the moon? Was it 100 years?
I don't know.
What year did we go to the moon? 2000.
Oh, 1960.
I was just about to say 2001: A Space Odyssey. I don't know why, but I just watched the movie a few days ago.
I think it was in the 60s, the space race and all that with the Russians, right?
Don't quote me on it. I'm poor at history.
I probably am it wrong.
I'm so bad, and I apologize to everyone who's screaming at the screen right now. Like, it was this date. Like, I'm sorry.
And you can verify, but
it was. But the point was, it was a short period of time for human history.
Yeah, no, it was.
But
the progression, the change,
the pace, and that's why I have hope for humanity's future of energy.
Yeah.
Like, the pace at which we change.
Yeah.
Is huge, and if people can't keep surviving off a certain thing, they will. People want to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but people want to live. I believe people want to survive over money, and people go like, "Oh, the oil industry and all this that has their hand over everyone. It's all a political issue." I don't really believe it's a political issue.
Okay.
To the extent at which people talk about it.
Okay.
I do believe there is political aspects to energy.
Yeah, political corruption.
Well, maybe not even corruption, but there are political aspects to doing anything.
Yeah, totally.
And I do believe that is not the same amount of, this is a political thing, this is why we don't have renewable energy right now, this is why we're using fossil fuels. Sure. But at the same time, I believe there's a lot of the practicality of making it happen.
Yeah.
I don't believe it won't happen.
Yeah.
I believe it will happen. I just don't think in the current form it will happen. You can't always be like, oh, this positive news, I feel great, or this positive information, or you have to sometimes be like, you have to give yourself critical thinking capabilities.
Yeah.
You have to train that.
Yeah.
You don't just have it. You don't just have it. It's a muscle.
It's a muscle.
Because you just get to a point where you're just like, you just start believing things. Especially if you watch your source. Even if you trust the source, you should really verify.
Well, that's why that's why cultist, members
cultist.
It's probably not even a word, but
no, cultist is a word, but I'm surprised how we got here.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, you'll see. That's why like people who I'd say are most involved in groups that have one idea that they want to push. That's why the darker section of them go for the young first. You're instantly
there's definitely an age bracket.
Influenced. When you're young, you don't know what you are. You don't know what this place is.
There's definitely an age bracket in which you can
influence the highest.
Oh, you definitely have. There's definitely an area in which people are the most susceptible. And it's probably I think it's like 5 to 14.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think it's that. Because I believe it is a known fact of when the most impressionable, influenceable age group is, and I think it's 5 to 14.
Yeah. And
it's definitely young. It's obviously young.
Yeah, because you're just fresh in the world.
Yeah.
But we just want to belong. And it's so easily manipulated.
It can people's desire to belong is like causes a lot of issues.
Yeah.
People like from just being kids in high school wanting to be popular and stuff. Like there's all sorts of ways you could point it. Oh, you want to belong?
Act this way.
Act this way.
Yeah.
Be this way. Think this way.
Yeah, yeah. That's like the most kind of scary one. Is like
the best thing to teach someone is how to think.
Yeah.
But not what to think.
We gotta teach ourselves
how to think
as well.
Oh, we always need to be. We always need to be watching what we think and do and how we judge.
Yeah.
Because you really shouldn't judge, but what you should do is contemplate.
Yeah.
Maybe you should be able to take an idea, dwell upon it, and not accept it.
Yeah.
From the start.
Well, yeah.
You should be able to juggle an idea.
Totally.
You maybe even treat it like you believe it.
Yeah.
And then be able to take that idea, put it on the shelf, and be like, I've thought about it. I have my own opinions on this. I can talk about it freely. And you're not going, I believe this. This is the thing. This is part of me.
Existence doesn't have you in a chokehold when you do that. Yeah.
Yeah, you should. What you're doing is free thinking.
Yeah.
You are taking ideas, you are digesting them, pulling what you need from them.
Yeah.
And knowing that they are a thing and being able to talk about it again.
Yeah.
And if someone has new ideas that you didn't think about when you were thinking about that thing, and you're like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Or you really, or if they really make a compelling argument for you, it's being able to change what you think is very important. Because if you're wrong and you don't change, and you're like, sometimes you know when you're obviously wrong.
Yeah.
Like if you just
which is good. That's a skill in itself.
Yeah.
That is more of a skill.
Some things
in my
world,
opinion.
Some things in this world are like you're obviously wrong. If you're an engineer and you believe something, and then someone's like, "Well, it actually works like this," and you don't change, and you can and they can prove that it works a certain way. That's ignorance. Yeah. That's just willing ignorance.
That's ego. Yeah.
Probably ego too. Yeah.
That's ego.
Yeah.
It's just not wanting.
We've always done it this way is the thing I hate hearing. Yeah. Oh, we've always done it this way.
It's like such a not good reason to keep doing it. To not improve.
It's like lean. It's like, well, we've always done it this way, so we're not gonna apply this new practice. And like,
it doesn't make sense.
Why?
It doesn't make sense. We're here to improve.
We should always be improving.
It's like if something's always done a certain way, like that's a really topic that I love is do social norms create personal morality? Like no. Do past
it definitely influences.
It influences it, but it shouldn't create it on its own. Like cultural like norms through the last, let's just say, couple thousand years. If people have been doing things for thousands of years, that doesn't mean it's right.
Sure, yeah.
And that's something that I've been, and it's just good to know
human
that.
sacrifice.
Yeah.
I mean,
like
anything.
A million things.
There's all sorts of things that you could. The funny thing is, though, what was right is kind of defined by society. Like, this is the right thing to do. Yeah. We do it this way. This is normal. This is this. And normal is always changing and always in flux. And so what's not normal now can be normal later. Like, I'm trying to think of some good things. I mean, there's there's whole gender studies and stuff. There's is it gender studies? Yeah. Is that what it is?
I think that rings a bell. Yeah.
I guess that's a good. I guess all encompassing LGBT community, like all sorts of things. Like that's probably the two most. That whole gender and sexuality, all that right now is probably one of the most prevalent things on people's minds socially. Yeah. Socially speaking, that's probably one big thing. Yeah. And we're like, there's a lot of things about society that change, and people go, well, why don't you do it this way? Yeah. Or, well, because we as a society we're changing, evolving. And if someone from the past came to the future, they would probably be like, well, why don't you do this anymore? What happened to this? Why like smoking cigarettes? Super simple thing. You used to be able to smoke anywhere you wanted.
That's a perfect example.
That's like what would people just Stranger Things? People were just complaining about Stranger Things season 3, and they're like, "There's so much smoking in it." And it's like, well, that's
they were in this. What is it based in the 60s? Right?
No,
80s, 70s.
Oh wait, a bunch of things are crossing over my mind. There's someone did a study of Stranger Things, like, but this model didn't show up until 1985, and they were trying to place when it happened. It's Cold War. It was the Cold War era. Okay, and
that's like 50s. Isn't it like Cold War? Isn't that way before this?
Pull out your phone. We should know this. Do you have your phone?
We'll do it after.
Put it in post.
Yeah, put it in.
I'm just going to use an encompassing term of Cold War era.
Cold War era. Done.
Someday, when I am a historian, my little sister wants to be a museum curator. She's a history buff. Cool. Like German studies and like, she's awesome. But she would know this, and she's probably shaking her head at me when she's watching this video.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about social norms. Yeah. And in like Stranger Things, people were smoking a lot, and people online were like, "Oh my gosh, why are they smoking so much? Stop romanticizing." Like, there's all this stuff about smoking. It's like, it's just a story. Yeah. It happened back then. Yeah. People did smoke on the bus. People smoked everywhere.
All the time.
And people just let it be. Yeah. You don't have to tell the story with modern thought process, like modern social norms, because then it's just like, then you're just recounting a story as if it was now. Yeah. If you're trying to sell the story being in that time, all the details matter, and I appreciate it when details are when even small details are observed. But I don't think we should be complaining as much as we do. People complain a lot about random things, and it's like, it's okay. It's just a story.
Something that's like my favorite thing to do is take now and think of it as the far past, be like, what are we doing right now that in 200 years people are gonna be like, wow, that was like that a lot. Equal to slavery or like some crazy thing.
Slavery.
You know what I mean? Yes, true. Because like back in the 20s or 18th century, slavery was the norm. That shit was
we used to think bell-bottom jeans were okay.
Like, damn it. But it really boggles my mind because like those
computers used to be beige.
Yeah, like, dude, it's up there. But pastors were preaching about slavery and how good it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It was part of it. It was like part of the 18th century. And like, certain, there's a lot of different toxic.
Is this like the South type of thing? Like,
I'm not certain.
Or like, because I mean, it was. I do not know my history of that off the top of my head as well as I should.
I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. I just enjoy researching like history in general.
This is bringing up a great point of our education system should be way more well-rounded than it is.
Oh my god,
the push for STEM,
yeah.
I'm all about it. I'm a computer engineer,
What is it?
Science engineer, STEM, science, technology, engineering, math.
Cool.
I like it, but I think we are leaving behind the arts and humanities and cultural studies way too hard.
Yeah.
We need those things. Like I like those things. I'm not obviously the guy to go to about them, but I enjoy talking about it. I enjoy thinking about it. I enjoy reading about it. I enjoy artwork. I enjoy poetry and writing and literature. Also, I enjoy reading.
Yeah.
Let me just put it that way.
Yeah.
I enjoy reading everything I can. And like there's a point at which you can't ignore their existence.
Yeah, you can't.
And as people are always pushing for STEM and like there is more to life than just science, engineering, and math and technology.
Much more.
There's the human connection. There's the humanity of existence that, sure, maybe people aren't thinking so deeply about.
Yeah.
Sure, maybe in high school, people don't really care. And maybe our educational system doesn't care. But you know what does matter? All of that.
Yeah.
All of where we came from matters. All of who we are matters.
Yeah.
Who other people are. Where we come from. Who you are. What you do.
Yeah.
What you create.
The humanity of it,
Being human is an amazing thing.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of also with AI. Being human is just as amazing as having something that's like a robot. But like there's beauty in everything.
Yeah.
And I think other things get lost in translation.
Yeah.
In the translation to we need to be more scientific and we need to be more heavy in math and science and engineering and all that. I think it's great and I think we should have those, but I think everything needs to be balanced. I don't want like Common Core is terrible.
What is that?
Common Core is like a new standard. It was not new now, but it's like it's a standard of how education should work for, I believe, elementary K through 12.
Okay.
I think it's K through 12. I don't think it's, I'm just going to say K through 12.
K through 12.
And it's bad. Everything about it is bad.
Okay.
You just look up Common Core failure, obviously if you look up something directly by saying Common Core failure, you're going to find the failures.
Okay.
If you look up Common Core success, you'll find the things about Common Core that are successful. But
so I'll just look up Common Core.
Look up Common Core and see what people say.
Yeah.
If you look at a math video using Common Core standards, it is horrendous.
Really?
It is horrifying what they do.
Is it a way of teaching?
It's a way of thinking. It's a way of thinking about the problem, how to solve it. And there's a funny video I saw where a guy it was like 35 times 12.
Yeah.
And the guy does the way we all do it. 35 on top, 12 on the bottom, line, multiplication symbol. Go through it, do all the stuff the way you and I were taught to do it, and he's done in like 10 seconds. The video goes on for like 2.5 to 3 minutes, and the person's actively doing the problem out. And they have boxes, and they're doing this and that, and they're like, what's this, and they're writing in the boxes, and it's going forever, and he starts making food, and he's like talking to his dog or something, and he like makes a cup of coffee, he comes back, he's drinking it, and finally the lady finishes the problem.
Yeah.
And he's been done for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's how they're supposed to do it. And if you can look at the video, just look up.
Yeah.
If you find it, you found it.
Yeah.
You can probably find other videos which are very similar to it. It's just bad.
Wrong. Yeah.
Everything about it is just wrong, and it's not. What the most important thing to teach a student is how to think, not what to think.
Yes.
How to think. I'd rather I think Neil deGrasse Tyson said this.
Oh, I love this Joe Rogan episode. Yeah.
It might have been his Joe Rogan episode.
Yeah.
But it might not have been. Either way, I believe Neil deGrasse Tyson said, he was like, if I'm in an interview with someone and I go, how tall is the building outside? And the student or the person that he's talking to tells him it's 155 feet high or whatever.
Totally.
And like just knows it because he studied the building, he's studied all the buildings in the area, he's an architectural engineer. That's great. But at the same time, if a person goes, I don't know, but I can find out, and goes out, knows how triangles work.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, if the shadow is this long, this and that, be able to put together, measure quantitative, like be able to give a rough estimate that's about 150 feet.
Yeah.
That's more valuable than just knowing.
It is.
Being able to think through a problem is extremely important.
Yeah.
And obviously that was a super condensed version out of the top of my head.
No, that's
you can
really
find that.
Good point. It's just like learning how to instead of being told what to.
Yeah, it's just being told what to do, what to think.
The whole schooling system is really backwards, to be honest.
Our schooling system's weird.
It's just,
I don't think it's going to help.
It works with like a really small percent of learners, in my opinion.
It's also designed like to make factory workers.
Yeah, literally is. Literally is designed to make factory workers. I think
that's a commonly accepted idea. It's made to make a factory worker.
Yeah, which is
fine, but not in this society.
Yeah, we're trying to create creativity in a space that was bent towards creating people who will say yes no matter what.
Pretty much.
That's like crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like high school.
It just seems like this terrifying reality of work hard, get to the weekend, have a good time, get back to work. Yeah. And like, I don't like it when people say I live for the week. Thank you. I don't like the idea of living for the weekend.
Yeah. No, it's terrible. It's toxic.
Your week is 7 days.
Yeah.
And you live for 2 of them.
Yeah.
That means you're living in your brain. You're living in your mind. You're living for 2/7 of your week.
It's not a right way to think.
When you could, but why not wake up every day and be like, this is my day. We really should. Everyone's different.
We write off our days.
Everyone is not going to be happy 24/7.
No one should be.
No one should be. But what you should be is content and happy with who you are, what you're doing, where you are in
There's
life.
a state of peace.
And if you're not, always be encouraged to go find that joy, find that happiness.
Yeah.
But I just feel like something is inherently, if you're not happy with how your life is, try to find the way to make it better. And I know, and that's it. And some people start that, and they find those motivational videos.
Yeah.
And I feel, and they get stuck.
Yeah.
And I find it very interesting, this motivational addiction.
Yeah.
Where you start watching, you find a video, and it's like, most motivational thing you'll ever watch this year.
Yeah.
Click now. It's a clickbaity sort of thing. And it's like,
millions of views.
Yeah, and it's like telling you how great you are and like sort of thing, and where I came from. They'll have this speaker who came from nothing and now he's something, and you can do it too. And some of these things are great. Yeah. Some of those are really good.
And I think in small dosages, it's like, I'll watch one of these and be like, all right, hell yeah. But there's kind of an addiction, like you said. It's like I'm just gonna watch all of these videos,
and they keep watching,
and then kind of feel like, oh well, I'm fine. I don't need to work on anything. I don't need to take responsibility. I'm good. These people are doing
not even that. They feel happiness from watching those videos, and they're like they get a little bit of a high from this motivational thing. Like I'm like that too. Yeah, pump up.
But it's for usage. They should use it.
But they don't use it.
Yeah,
and they don't do anything with it. And not everyone, mind you, not everyone.
Yeah.
But some people, they just go, I'm going to do this tomorrow, and they don't do it. Or I'm going to. I'm going to study harder. New Year's resolutions, very similar to that. Yeah. They get this motivational sort of kick. Hoorah, kick, and then it goes away. It's like, well, I'm not quite ready for it. I'm tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow, and then they watch another one, and they just get into this habit of watching these motivational things and feeling good and like because they're watching something. And it's not everyone, obviously, but enough people, and they just don't act on it. They always put it off. Yeah. And maybe not be because of procrastinating, but it's because, or a reason could be, is they feel like they don't have the opportunity yet.
Yeah, or they don't think they deserve it.
Possibly that's a big thing. They might not feel like they can deserve it. I never actually really thought about that.
Yeah. No, it's a big thing.
That's interesting.
It's people don't think they deserve.
Because I've always thought that people think they deserve everything.
Yeah, but that's just not true. That's the opposite. I think that's truly there's the opposite that exists prevalently. Or
that I don't deserve this.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard that from some people. Like, I don't deserve this. I'm like, no, you do deserve this. But that's interesting. I never really
people don't think they deserve the best care. Usually,
people deserve more than they give themselves credit for.
Yeah.
Actually, the more Yeah, I know.
People will go. I've said this on other episodes.
They do both things. Some people feel they deserve everything. Some people feel they don't deserve anything. I think
it's good to say you deserve everything. It's just you should not come from an egotistical way. You should be like, yeah, I deserve everything, meaning happiness. I deserve
everything that makes me happy.
Yeah. Not like surrounding yourself with like, but
it's not like materialism.
Shit. Yeah.
Like, which is terrifying in my
everything
opinion.
Everything to me is an inner peace.
Mm-hmm.
That's just
like the contentment through being.
Yeah.
Not contentment through having.
So that which is
materialism.
You should strive for everything in that case.
Mm-hmm.
But people, I've said this in other episodes, just people don't think they deserve the best care. They'll shell out, they'll quickly forgive their friends, their family. They'll want the best and the most happiness for others surrounding them. But, like, I don't know, there's something about it, like, but they won't do the same for themselves. They won't, and I think part of it is that we know the gruesome details. We know ourselves more than anybody.
Fair.
But it's also...
We're our greatest critic.
We need to realize also that...
Take a step back
And be like, well, we are not our worst mistakes. We're just not. We're not our worst mistakes.
Yeah, we're the accumulation of our successes and our mistakes. We are.
How we react is more important than the actual thing.
It's fair.
I
think that's fair.
It's just reacting to
how we get back up.
Yeah.
The willpower to get back up after a setback.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, some people are like, I want to be a certain thing.
Yeah.
And then they try and they fail and then they stop.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's part of
Failure is literally integrated in existence.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, it's chaos and order. It's left brain, right brain.
And if you fail, that's A-okay.
Yeah.
It's really fine if you failed.
Yeah.
What's not okay is not getting back up. Like, I failed my first 2 years of college. I had a 2.1 GPA. I did not take care of myself mentally. I was awful. I was so bad mentally and physically. I didn't know I was bad.
Were you really just like not motivated to like?
I was zero motivation. I felt like everyone's against me. I was like paranoid. I was weird. I didn't take care of myself. Anxious, paranoid, depressed, everything. I did not know how bad I was. I was so bad.
Wow.
I did not know until I finally left college for that moment. Went back home and people were like, my family was like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, nothing's wrong with me. And I was like, I did not realize how bad I was.
Yeah.
And no one cared outside of my family. And I didn't hear anyone ever be like, are you okay? This, that. Like, I was, and for all I know, honestly, at this point, is people did and I didn't listen.
Okay.
For all I know.
Okay.
But, like, you have to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
In everything. So if you want to do something, go do it. Especially if it's going to help you be better. If it's going to help your mental state, if it's going to help you, like, if you want to go to the gym, go to the gym. Yeah. It's going to hurt. Especially if you haven't gone in a long time. Like me, I haven't gone to the gym at that point in like. If I didn't go at all when I was at college.
And you mean workout in general, right?
Workout in general. Yeah. I mean, that's great for the brain. It's great for the mind.
Oh yeah. It's everything.
2 years of college, I didn't work out. I went to college at home and I started getting better. And I kind of ran for a little bit, but I really worked out because I worked 10 hours a night at the warehouse.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
And I worked night shift in a liquor warehouse, for a year and a half, and I shredded the weight. I weighed 250 when I got to the warehouse. And I thought I was in shape. I thought I was fine, I remember looking down at myself. I was at my computer when I stopped really exercising. I got depressed in high school. And I got depressed and I kept looking down at my gut and I'd be like, I can see my belt, I'm fine. And I kept going, I'll just run tomorrow or something. And I didn't run. And I get back to my computer. I'm fine. Keep going.
Yeah.
Years. And then it just, and I stopped looking.
Yeah.
And then I looked down one day.
And that's the worst part.
And I was like, oh.
Is the stop looking. Because that's, that's the scary part.
Yeah. And then when I got back and I was like, I hate my body. I despise it. And I was so upset. And I was so depressed. And I started working out at the warehouse and my pants fell down one day.
Oh, shit.
I was working so much. And I was like, I remember I'd get in there, first 2 hours, I was sweating my soaked in the warehouse.
Detox.
I guess you could say detox. But like I was pushing, and like fall asleep in the
I'm guessing you were like lifting like heavy.
Oh yeah, like I was lifting cases of liquor. Cases of liquor, wine, and running around, and oh my god,
that'll do it.
I almost died in there too.
Oh my god.
Yeah, someone. It was an incident where a guy was pushing a pallet over the edge of Z level, which is like 50 feet in the air, and I just hear someone yell, "Move!" And I hear a crunching sound. I look up and I see a pallet coming over. It's the guy across the other side of the aisle. Jeez. Had pushed it too far. He pushed the pallet in too far, and he pushed it just enough. And I like ran forward. It was luckily it wasn't like really on me. It was a little bit away, but still.
No, that's like messed up. Like, that's messed up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe that guy works there anymore. I never saw him again. Yeah. But like, there is some.
It's all about how you take care of yourself.
Yeah.
It's mentally, physically. There's a million different ways to take care of yourself. There's a million. There's diet. There's exercise. There's.
I'm really glad that warehouse thing happened to me.
Yeah.
I'm really glad I worked there.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to go back whatsoever. Yeah. Probably one of the worst jobs I've ever worked.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it helped me think. It was a moment where I was working out.
Yeah. It was like.
I had to move. I had to lift. I had to push. I had to push myself to stay up.
You had to do it.
And I would. And every morning, and it was, you don't know happiness until you've gone nights, you've gone days, weeks without seeing sunlight. And then the morning comes, you get in your car at 6 a.m. You look up and you see the sun break over the horizon, and you don't know happiness until you see it. You're like, hallelujah! You're like, oh my god, the sun! And you're just like driving home, and I get a coffee, and I'm like, yes! The sun. And I'm like, I love the day. The day is amazing. The day is mine. Fall asleep.
Pass
out till time to work again. And you wake up and you're like, and then you're just like lugging to work and you get to a point and you're just like, I hate this.
It's all about how you mentally and physically take care of yourself.
But I had never felt that kind of happiness in years. Yeah. When I remember my second day at the warehouse and the sun came up. And I was in my car, and it was dark out. I get in the car, I start driving down the road, and the sun breaks over the horizon. And I was like, that's gorgeous. Yeah. That is gorgeous. And I just was so happy in that moment. It was just the simple pleasure. And I stopped the car, and there was a nice little way to look out on the river. There's a river near where I was coming from, and I just sat there and like on the front of my car, just sitting there, taking it in. And I was like, life's okay. It was kind of a moment where I realized...
Yeah, we're okay.
I'm okay.
We're enough.
Like, I got through that hell. For me, it was hell at first. So I was like, I hurt. Yeah. And I was sweaty, and I was feeling
just one of those moments.
And I was lugging around 50 extra pounds. Like,
you really, it stuck with you, that moment.
Yeah. Like, that, really pretty. And then just, continuing to work. And, like, there was a lot of people there. Yeah. And, some of them were weird. Yeah. Some of them are really weird. Yeah. Some of them were really nice in their own way. They probably weren't the best people to work with, but some of them really were insightful with some things. Like one guy was like telling me, like, I was like, I was thinking about some stuff from the past, and he was like, kind of like that Rafiki moment from The Lion King, but he looked at me and he was like, dude, you're fine. Yeah. You're on a whole new level now. Like, you're on a new level. Yeah. You're not then. You don't bring yourself down to that old level. Yeah. That's old to you. Yeah. You are comfortable there. Yeah. But that doesn't mean you can't be comfortable here. Yeah. And you're definitely better than you were back then.
Yeah, and that's what matters, man. It's just progression and taking care of yourself.
And I think Rafiki in The Lion King said, like, the pain is in the past and all that. So it wasn't really a Rafiki moment, but it was a moment of teaching of, like, dude, you're fine. You're on a new lane of existence. You're on a new level. Yeah. Take that and run. And keep working, keep climbing.
It's good stuff, man. It's just...
Keep working.
That's something we just need to remember.
Sometimes you just need life to kick you in the balls.
Totally.
I didn't even know I was on... The worst part is, sometimes you think you're running along and then you start walking. Yeah. And sometimes when you're walking in a way through life, you fail. And for some reason, you don't realize you fell face first into the ground. Yeah. And you're like, I'm fine. You're just laying there. I'm fine. Like me, I was face planted, fell over down a hill
until it really
when I got home. Yeah, and it hit me. Yeah, because I finally hit the bottom, the rock bottom. and the reality was like right there in my face.
You couldn't ignore it.
And I couldn't ignore it anymore. And I was like, whoa. Here I am.
That's really cool.
And then it was all about me changing. It took me 2 years really to get to where I am.
I'm glad you got there.
Yeah. Like to be in a point of which I'm happy. I'm content, and I'm always pushing to be better.
There's always room for improvement.
Always, 100%.
All aspects of life in general.
100%.
But I'm actually gonna call it there. Okay. Arthur, thank you for
thanks for having me on.
Being on, and
thank you.
We'll see you next time on the Beneath the Surface podcast.
All right.